47. That's how many people are trapped in Fromville right now. And Boyd Stevens, the man who has held this town together by sheer willpower for 3 seasons, just counted every single bullet they have left. One for each person, not to fight the monsters, to make sure there are enough. Season 4 of From opens not with hope, not with a plan, but with a man preparing for a mercy killing he prays he never has to perform. And that is just the first 10 minutes. What follows is one of the most densely packed premieres this show has ever produced. A shape-shifting villain, a monstrous rebirth, a family shattered by grief, and a creature that was supposed to be dead, now smiling again. Let's break it all down. Before we dive into the new episode, we need to revisit exactly where Season 3 left us, because Season 4 does not wait for you to catch up. Jim Matthews is dead. The man in yellow, Fromville's most enigmatic and terrifying presence, slit Jim's throat while reciting what sounded like a eulogy. He called Jim brave, he said he liked him, and then he killed him anyway, with the casual detachment of someone closing a book they've already read. But here's what makes Season 4's opening so disorienting. The very first scene is not set in the present. We are watching a future version of Julie Matthews, older, her hair dramatically different, attempting to storywalk her way back to the moment of her father's death. She materializes in the same space as the man in yellow, and he looks at her with complete recognition. "We have to stop meeting like this," he says. "When did you come from this time?" Stop and let that land. This is not their first encounter. Julie has tried this before, multiple times, across multiple timelines, and every single time the man in yellow has been waiting. He tells her what he always tells her. There's no way to change a story once it's been told. And then Julie disappears, fading back into her own timeline, leaving Jim's fate unchanged. The story has been told. Back in the present, Fromville receives its latest victims the way it always does, violently, without warning, without mercy. A car comes screaming into town. The driver, a man who appears to be a pastor or a preacher, is convulsing behind the wheel. His teenage daughter, Sophia, is in the passenger seat, desperately trying to grab the steering wheel as her father shakes and thrashes uncontrollably. The car crashes directly into the sheriff's station. Boyd, Tabitha, Jade, and Kenny all rush to help. What follows is a genuinely tense rescue sequence. The father unconscious, Sophia pinned, shattered glass everywhere, and for a moment this show remembers how to make you care about strangers. Sophia is pulled free first. She's frightened, in shock, asking if her father is okay. She's sweet. She's vulnerable. She seems like exactly the kind of person this town will chew apart. Her father is eventually extracted too, breathing, pulse present, but unconscious. Boyd and the town's nurse, Marielle, piece together what happened. The father had a seizure while driving, and here Boyd connects a pattern the show has been building since Season 1. Every person who has arrived in Fromville with a seizure has eventually begun hearing voices, being manipulated, being used. Ethan had one, Sarah had one, Elgin had one, and now the pastor. Kenny is tasked with staying at the clinic, watching over the newcomers, and explaining to a 15-year-old girl that the life she knew is over. Meanwhile, Boyd is unraveling, and this is where the episode earns its emotional weight. Down in a private space, away from everyone, Boyd has laid out every single bullet from every single gun that has ever passed through Fromville. He's counting them, organizing them, making sure there are enough. Kenny finds him, and when he asks what Boyd is doing, Boyd says it out loud for the first time. What we saw down there means there is no way to fight back against those things. There is no way, none, to win. He talks about the day coming when the only decision left is how they choose to leave, whether the monsters take them or whether they take themselves. This is Boyd Stevens contemplating a mass mercy killing. Kenny asks how many people they have. Boyd doesn't know. Kenny does. 47. He counted during interviews about Tilly's death earlier in the season. There are exactly 47 people in Fromville between Colony House and the town. Boyd repeats the number like it's a sentence. 47. The reason this moment lands so hard is not just what Boyd is saying, it's what it represents. For 3 seasons, Boyd has been the unshakable center of this show, the man who always finds a way, the man who refuses to let the darkness win, and here he is alone counting bullets. Christy confronts him later with the sharpest line in the episode. "It's a pretty shit time for you to start feeling sorry for yourself." She tells him that if he loses faith, that's when people start hanging themselves in bathrooms. His despair is contagious. It is, in its own way, as dangerous as any monster. Ellis reaches him emotionally where Christy reaches him practically. Boyd finally breaks, truly breaks, admitting he cannot carry it anymore. That if he can't get his son home, if all the sacrifices mean nothing, then what was any of it for? It's one of the most raw scenes the show has ever produced, and Boyd will need every ounce of whatever he recovers, because the episode hasn't delivered its worst blow yet. To understand what happens in the tunnels, we need to go back. Last season, Fatima became convinced she was pregnant, and that whatever was growing inside her was connected to this place. She was dismissed, gaslit, told she was imagining things. Elgin, manipulated by voices promising him that the baby would save everyone and take them home, hid Fatima in the root cellar. Boyd went looking for her. What Boyd found in those tunnels was not a rescue mission. He found a woman in a kimono, a figure the show has tied to the supernatural machinery of this town, standing in a chamber surrounded by the creatures from the woods. All of them in a circle. The woman placed something in the center of the room. It started to move. It grew. It kept growing until it was large enough to stand, and then it smiled. That smile. That specific, wrong, inhuman smile that belongs to the creature Boyd killed at the clinic, the one they burned to ash, the one they thought was gone. It's back. But this isn't just any iteration of the Smiley creature. Boyd is certain, and Kenny, who witnessed it, confirms that this is the same one, reborn, used, rebuilt from whatever Fatima's body was made to carry. When Boyd tells Fatima what he saw, her response is devastating in its simplicity. "I gave birth to one of them." Boyd tries to clarify. "This is not just one of them, it's the one I killed that night at the clinic." Fatima has been through more than any character this season is willing to fully reckon with. She screams that she told them, she begged them to listen, she knew something was wrong, and she was right, and it didn't matter, and now she has to live inside that knowledge. The shower scene that follows, Fatima trying to wash something invisible off her skin, is haunting without being exploitative. It is the correct choice. Now we arrive at the ending, and if you thought you had a handle on this episode, this is where it takes the wheel from you. After the crash, after the rescue, after Sophia is brought to the clinic wrapped in a blanket, praying with Kenny for her father's recovery, the camera takes us somewhere else. We see the pastor, unconscious, breathing, and then a voice says, "Wake up." And as the pastor's eyes open, the voice says, "Blink twice if you can hear me." The camera pulls back, and standing over him, with a smile that is not a human smile, is Sophia. "I know this must be confusing for you," she says, "but you played a very special role in a very important story." And then she explains. She couldn't come to the town as herself. Not with everything the residents have learned. They would have recognized him immediately, so instead, she took a form they would welcome. A frightened girl, a daughter, someone to be protected. The pastor begins to convulse. His body cracks, shifts, the bones rearrange, the shape changes, and what stands up, adjusting, stepping back into the darkness, is the man in yellow, in a new body, wearing a new face, already inside the walls. The episode ends with that same line he always delivers, the one he said to Jim, the one he said to Julie. This is when they tear themselves apart. It's always my favorite part. Let's talk about that number. 47 people. Boyd counts the bullets. Kenny counts the people. The show is not being subtle, but the significance runs deeper than the obvious parallel. Fan theory circles have been circling this for years. Fromville appears to maintain a fixed population. When someone dies, someone new arrives. The town replenishes itself. It is a system, not a prison, not a purgatory, but something more deliberate, a terrarium. This episode almost confirms it. Jim dies. The pastor and Sophia arrive. The pastor is killed by the episode's end. The head count stays at 47. If this theory holds, it has enormous implications. It means the town is not simply trapping people, it is curating them, selecting them, replacing them when they're used up. And it means that escape, true escape, may require breaking the mechanism that maintains the count, not just finding a door. The other thread this episode pulls hard: the creatures made a bargain. Fatima's vision before the birth gave us the clearest look yet at the origin of the monsters in the woods. They were people. They made a deal with something in exchange for immortality. They sacrificed their children. The creatures that come out at night were once parents who chose forever over family. And now the creature Boyd killed is back, because it cannot be killed. It was never truly alive in the way we understand life. It is part of a cycle that predates every person currently in Fromville. The Smiley creature's rebirth through Fatima is not a random cruelty. It is the system working exactly as designed. Boyd destroyed one iteration, the system produced another. The cycle continues. This raises the question the show is clearly building toward. Is there any action the residents can take that this place hasn't already accounted for? The man in yellow seems to think not. Season 4 of From has arrived with a premiere that is quieter than expected, heavier than anticipated, and more structurally clever than it first appears. The man in yellow is now inside the town wearing a stolen face. Boyd is fractured, Jim is dead, Smiley is reborn, and there are exactly 47 people left to tear apart. Here's the question for the comments. The man in yellow says the story cannot be changed once it's been told, but Julie keeps trying. What if the act of trying is part of the story, and the man in yellow needs her to keep failing? Drop your theory below. If this breakdown helped you, subscribe to Drama Crypt for weekly From Deep Dives every Monday after each episode drops. The mystery only gets deeper from here. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has been counting on it.